Good morning, everyone. In the last class, we are trying to discuss with switch case here, and we identified here if does not have a break statement here. So, what are the drawbacks we identified here? So, same way in the last class, we check with if and else block condition. The same condition we are going to discuss with our switch case here. So, how exactly we can connect on this particular the same example here. So, it's nothing but what is the name of the class we can define? The name of the class we can define like this here. So same what we can call it as a month here. And after this, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to check with the public static void main hogs, cutting the point. And here I'm trying to work with the month here. So into month is equals to 4. Into month is equals to 4. And whenever we are trying to define this particular month is equals to 4, so what I'm going to do here, I will try to connect with our string here and season. The same variable I'm trying to declare here, but only the difference here will connect with our switch cases here. Instead of connecting with our if and else block, we are going to connect with our switch case here. Okay, so back to here. Now what I'm going to write here, I'm going to define this particular switch here. I'm defining month here. So the case we are defining 12, case 1, case 2. Right. So for this, the season we are going to have same winter and break. Getting the point. So case here 3 we are going to work and 4 and 5. Season is equals to spring and break. So later, now what we are going to do, case 6, case 7 and case 8 here. And the same season we are going to define here something called summer. So focus on the how we are working with the same defined else block example with our switch case here, break here, and so this is our 8 and 9 here, case 11. So this is the final one. The season we are going to define as a short woman and break here. If anything does not match here, what we are going to write here? So default we are going to define here. The season is equals to something called test. If anything is not finding here, we'll try to check with the default one here. Getting the point. So and inside this particular default one, I'm trying to define as a test here. And here, now what I'm going to write here, system dot out dot println here. And close our main brace, close with our class double brace. So this is be defined as a month here. After saving this particular month, what we can do, so we'll go for this particular folder called core Java. So command prompt Java C month.java. I'm trying to compile the code. So here, so we provide a wrong here. So the system is not found here. Let me compile one more time. So it is compiled successfully and month here. Now you can see, so what is the value we are getting? The value we are getting as a string here. Getting the point. If I'm going to change here, instead of 4, now I want to give as a 9 here. I want to give as a 9 here. So let me compile one more time and execute here. So now you can see, so the season is changing here. Right. And now what I'm doing here, so instead of 9, I want to connect with our 2. Let me compile one more time. Winter. Getting the point. So these are about the switch case here. So previously the same example we discussed with our defined else block code. The conditional we use here. So with the help of this particular if and else here, we implemented the same code here. The same code now, so we connected with our switch case here. Getting the point. So only the difference here we need to understand here. So how we can work with the switch case, how we can work with this particular switch case. So we need to focus on the syntaxes here. Getting the point. So these are about the different like example we understand here. Along with this, now if you want to work with any other data type here, so how we are going to write here? So to work with this particular other data type here, only the information we need to change here, the case information. So we need to focus here, the switch case here, what is the value is holding here? The month here. Month is a which data type here. So based on that, we can check here. So for example, if I'm going to use as a string data type, getting the point. If I'm going to use as a string data type, so here I want to check with the same tool here. I want to check with the same tool here. But if I'm going to work with the same example, observe here. So this particular case is pointing as a int, but we are having the particular data type as a string here. If I'm going to clear, let me compile. Now you can see incompatible types. Getting the point. So incompatible types we are getting here. So int cannot convert as a string here. Int cannot convert as a string here. Now what we need to do? Getting the point. Now what we can do? So we need to change these particular cases here. So how we can change here? Now you can see if I'm going to write like this here. 1, 2. Getting the point. So this case is going to pointing as a string data type here. This case is going to point as a string data type here. Getting the point. Now this is the way we can run an example here. So just for understanding, I'm providing information here. When we are trying to work with a string, how we can define here. The case we need to define like this way with the help of double quotes, so that the compiler is going to treat it as a this particular data as a string data here. Right. Now we need to check with the nested switch statements here. So basically, in the previous example, we understand here how we can work with the nested if blocks here. The same way how we can work with the nested switch statements here. How we can work with the switch statements here. So this is important we need to understand here. So observe here, I'm trying to provide the information like how exactly we can work with this particular nested switch statements here. So to work with this particular nested switch statements here, so what is the syntax we need to follow? So basically the syntax we need to follow like this here. This is our outer switch, right? If the outer switch case is satisfied here, for example, if the case 1 is satisfied here, right? So inside this particular case 1, now what I am doing here, I'm trying to define one more switch here. I'm trying to define one more switch here. So this is nothing but the targeted switch here. Case 0, and I'm trying to define some values here. So system.out.println, some value we can print, otherwise we can print empty line here. So close this particular semicolon and make as a break here. Getting the point. So this section is giving as a nested switch cases here, because now what we are doing is we are defining one switch case here, and if this particular case is satisfying here, so we are trying to work with one more switch case here, and another one what we can do, we can work with so case 2 here, another one we can work with the case 2 here. We can define the case 2 information here. Right. So we'll have a simple example on this particular nested switch statement here, how we can work on the nested switch here. So to work with this particular nested switch, what we can do, so this is the name of the class. String off. Right. Now what I'm doing here, I want to check with the string data type here, something called value is equals to, I want to define as a 1 here. So this is the case 1. Alright. If this particular case 1 is satisfying here, now what I am doing here, I'm trying to connect with our one more switch. And here I want to check with our target here. The target I'm going to add as a int here, something called the same target value I'm trying to specify here. Target here. Now case 1. So I'm not going to define much code here. System.out.println here. Now what I'm trying to write here, nested switch here. Getting the point. So this particular nested switch here I'm trying to define, and case 2. So nested switch 1, and 2. Getting the point. So these are the enough, and finally here I'm trying to define with 2. So what I'm going to write here, system.out.println here. Normal case 2. It is not a nested switch case here. It is not a nested switch case here. Getting the point. So let me add here break for our case 1. So now I'm trying to save this particular class name with the nested switch Java C nested switch.java. Observe here it is compiled successfully and Java nested switch. So nested switch 1 is executing here. So why this particular nested switch 1 is executing here? So first we need to understand here the string value we provided as a 1 and internally the target also we provided as a 1. If I'm going to change to this particular target as a 2, if I'm going to change to this particular target as a 2, so what happens internally? Observe here, compile one more time and execute here. So now the output we are getting as a nested switch 2 here. Getting the point. So back to here, now what I'm going to write here, instead of this particular target 2, I'm going to change to the year 2. Here, the string value I'm changing here. So it's nothing but the normal switch case we need to understand here. Normal case 2, getting the point. The normal case 2 is executing here. So this is the way we can check it with the particular switch case value here. Right. Now, what I'm trying to understand here, how exactly this particular switch case is executing. So we identified here with the help of this particular nested blocks here. So we need to focus on the iteration loops here. So these are about the switch case here. We need to check with our iteration loops here. So to check with this particular iteration loops here, now what we need to understand here. So we need to understand here what are the loops we are going to have here. The first loop we will have here while loops here. The first loop we are going to have while, and after while we check with do while here. So finally we'll go for the for loop. So basically we already discussed with the for loop with a different example in the previous classes here. So what is the difference between while and do while for loop? So we'll understand here. Getting the point. So each loop will have a unique behavior here, and so what exactly the purpose of this particular loops here. So whenever we are having multiple values here, so to work with one by one, to work with this particular one by one, we can go for this particular loop concepts here. Right. Now, so in that this particular loops here, first we'll check with while loop here. So first we'll check with while loop here. So to check with this particular while loop here, now what I'm going to write here, to check with this particular while loop, what I'm going to write here, observe carefully. So the loops we are going to specify here. So the loop we are going to work with, first we'll start from the while loop here. So later we are going to check with do while and while. So what is the syntax for this particular while loop here? Getting the point. So while loop here, and here we need to define the condition. we need to define the condition. So if this particular condition is returning true, what happens internally? So whatever the statement we are going to define here, so this statement is going to execute here. So otherwise, it will not enter into this particular block of code here. So it will directly coming out of the particular while loop here. So what is the condition we can write? So based on our requirement, we can define so different conditions here. So the simple condition, so I'm trying to write here I less than 10. I less than 10. Getting the point. So it's nothing but we need to define what is the initial value of this particular I. So later, how this particular value is checking, we are going to write here. Right. So the condition is important here. The while loop is going to play a very important role based on this particular condition here. So until if this particular condition is returning false, so this particular while loop is going to terminate here. Getting the point. Now observe the simple example we are going to understand. So based on this particular while loop here, class here, so while test here. So public static void main string args here. Getting the point. Now I'm trying to check with the int value something. Insert. Okay, int n is equals to 10 here. Now later what I'm doing here, I'm defining n value. So I'm defining while loop here. So observe carefully. So n greater than 0. Getting the point. N greater than 0. So currently, so this condition is going to return true or false. Currently this particular condition is going to return true or false. So it's very important here. So n greater than 0 condition. So what is the n value? So currently we are having the n value as a 10 here. So 10 greater than 0. The condition is going to satisfy here. So if it is satisfied, the expression is going to return as a true. So once this particular while is returning true, what happens internally, it will enter into this particular block of code and it will execute here. It will execute here. Getting the point. Now what I'm trying to write here, I'm trying to check with this particular so value called tick. How many times this particular n value is going to repeat here. So now I'm printing n value. So after this, what happens internally? Getting the point. So how many times this particular loop is going to repeat here? How many times this particular loop is going to repeat? So anyone having an idea how many times this particular loop is going to repeat here?
Ten times.
So how is this particular loop is going to repeat 10 times here? So if you observe,
Infinity.
so n value we are having 10 here, right? So 10 greater than 0, the condition true, so it will print this particular value. Again, the loop is going to repeat n greater than 0. N value we are having 10. Again, this particular condition is going to satisfy. The n value will print here. Again, it's going to check here. But up to how many times it's going to check? So there is no the false condition here. After iterating some loop, after completion of some iteration loops here, we are not making any false condition here. Getting the point. Every time this particular loop is returning as a true here. So if you observe carefully this particular loop here, we are not decreasing or we are not increasing the particular n value here. Getting the point. So this is the n value 10 constantly the same value we are going to have. How many times this particular loop is going to repeat for the same times here? Getting the point. So this is very important. We need to understand here. Now you can see n value, the first condition returning true, and it will enter into the block. Again, it's going to check for the second iteration. So still we are having the same n value. Now you can see. So for third iteration also, the n value will become same here. For the fourth iteration also, the n value will become same. So if the n value will become the same value, so this particular loop is going to repeat so infinity times here. So observe carefully the name of the class. We need to check with the while test here. While test.java. It's compiled successfully and while test. Now observe here. So it's keep on iterating here. Still it is iterating here. Now if you want to understand here, now you can see, so these are the values is printing here. Now the right side section you can see, I'm trying to move this particular cursor here. I'm trying to move this particular cursor. Now you can see, so still the value is printing here. Getting the point. I'm trying to stop this particular tick value. You can see how many times this particular value is repeating here. So multiple times this particular value is repeating here. So I don't want to repeat these many times here. So I want to stop in some certain cases here. So how we can define here? So for example, I want to stop this particular loop here after iteration of this particular 10. After iteration of this particular 10, I want to stop here. So is there any way to stop this particular loop here? So could you please think and let me know, is there any way to stop here? Because so the basic arithmetic and the logical we already discussed here. So with the help of this particular arithmetic and logical here, is there any way to stop this particular loop here?
We can use break.
So if I'm going to use the break here, how many times this particular loop will repeat? Okay. Observe here, I'm making the break. Let me clear the screen. Java C, while test is compiled successfully. I'm running. Only one time. But we want to make 10 times here. Okay, if I'm going to decrease this particular n value, what happens internally? Getting the point. So instead of using this particular break, if I'm trying to check with this particular n minus minus. Getting the point. Now what happens internally? So this particular loop will repeat how many times here?
10.
Getting the point. So this is the way we can check with this particular while loops here. So now if I want to stop 5 here, if I want to stop 5 here, what we can do? So simply we can make one if condition. If the n value will become 5, so we can use the break here.
Yeah.
Getting the point. So this is the way we can check with this particular while loop here. So this condition is very important here. Getting the point. So whenever we are trying to work with this particular value, so we need to check here after completion of some iteration here. So we want to stop this particular loop here. So the condition is important, and the iteration value, whether it is an increment or decrement, or if you are making some other condition, so that is important here. So sometimes what happens internally is we are going to check with this particular some EMP not equals to null. EMP not equals to null. So this particular expression also will return true. But what we need to do, we need to make some, after completion of some operation here, we need to make some condition here. EMP equals to null here. Whenever we are making this particular EMP equals to null, so this particular while loop will return false here. Getting the point? So this is the way we can make some different types of condition here, but only the changes here we need to understand here how many times the loop we need to repeat, and after repeating this, how this particular, so the values are going to iterate multiple times here. So this is the basic example we understood with the help of this particular while loop here. So now I'm going to write with another loop here. I'm going to check with another loop here. Here I'm trying to define with one more loop here. Same, using this particular value, we are going to check with one more example here into I comma j. So I'm defining two variables here, and I'm trying to initializing one value I is equals to 100 and j is equals to 200 here. So j is equals to 200 here. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to find out the, so what is the middle value of 100 and 200 here. Getting the point? So I'm trying to find out the middle value between the 100 and 200 here. So to find out here, how I'm trying to write here. So carefully observe here how I'm trying to checking here. So I plus I less than minus j. Plus I and minus j. Getting the point? So here we don't want to write explicitly the increment and decrement here. So what we are doing is, so in the expression only, like in the while condition only, we are defining the particular expression here is going to check with the incremented value with our decremented values here. So observe carefully, if I'm going to find out this particular middle value, like what exactly the middle value we can understand here. So now see system dot out dot println. If I'm going to define I and j value, I'm going to define this particular I and j value. So let's see. So what is the middle value we are going to get? What happened? Somewhere which is expected to be semicolon. Anywhere we are missing our no. We cannot write to. Okay, let's see. So what is error we are getting? Not a statement. Line number 13. I and j. I and j, I and j. Okay. So observe the while test is compiled, and I'm trying to print these particular values. So now you can see what is the starting value. I value 101, and so j value will become 199, 102, 198. So I value is increasing, j value decreasing here. But now you can see, so what is the middle value? Getting the point. So the middle value only one value here. It's not a 2 here. So if I want to find out the middle value of I and j, so what is the code I need to implement here? Getting the point. So if I'm going to write here, I'm getting the I value 149 and j value 151 here. I want to find out here the middle value only 1 instead of 2. Otherwise, I want to print the 150 here. So which value I want to print here? Because now you can see the last two iteration here, 149 for the I value, 151 for the j here. But I want to print this particular between 149 and 151, that is called 150. So how we can write this particular the loop here to find out the 150 value here. So 150 is the middle value of 100 and 200. So can you please think and let me know, like what is the line of code we need to add to print this particular 150? So it is simple. So if you observe, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to copy this particular statement here. Outside of this particular while loop, I'm trying to define only I value. I'm trying to define only I value here. So if you observe, clear the console, compile one more time and execute. So now you can see we are getting the final record 150 here. The final record we are getting 150. So this particular value will become some middle value of the particular I and j value. So first what you need to think here, so 149. 149 is a I value. So what happens internally, whenever the 149 line statement is printed here, so it will become, I value will become 150 here. So carefully observe here. So we need to think little bit very carefully here, because when this particular condition is not satisfying here. So I value, the final statement I am trying to write is 149, and so j value something called 151. Getting the point. So up to this 149 to 159, 149 and 151, this particular statement is printing. So later what happens internally? Again, one more loop is going to repeat here. So while repeating one more loop here, now what it will do? Internally, it's going to check the value. So I value we are checking with the pre-increment value. So whenever we are checking with the pre-increment value, what happens internally? Value first it will increment here. The value first increment here. Getting the point. Same way we are trying to check with the pre-decrement operator. So the value it will decrease. The value it will decrease here. Now you can check the condition. So 150 less than 150. Getting the point? So 150 less than 150 here. The condition will become true or false. It will become false here. Getting the point? So it will become false here. So whenever this particular condition is false here, what happens internally? It will try to execute the line number 15 here. So this is the way we can check the middle value, but only the difference here, we need to think very carefully how this particular expression is working. Because you can see, so this particular expression first incrementing the value and later is checking the value. Later it is checking the value here. So based on this particular increment time to checking the value, the loop is repeating here. Getting the point? So this is all about the simple while loop here. And now observe here how this particular while loop is executing here. So any questions regarding this particular while loop here? So what we discussed so far with the help of this particular while loop. Anyone having any questions? Okay. So we'll go for the another loop called do while here. So with the help of this particular do while here, how we can execute the simple example here. And after executing this particular do while here, so we can understand here what is the difference between do while here. Getting the point? So basically, the while is checking the condition itself. The while is checking the condition at the time of first execution here. At the time of first execution here. The same way, the do while here, at the time of first execution here, it's not going to check any condition here. First time, it will allow any user to enter into the particular block of code. So after enter into the block of code, he can perform any operations here. So after performing the first iteration here, from the second iteration onwards, it's going to checking the condition here. So this is only the difference between while and do while here. So we'll have the simple example here so that we'll understand more how exactly the particular do while loop is going to work here. First we'll check with the syntax here. Syntaxes are very important here. So this is a do here, and here we are going to write the body of statements here, right? And after completion of this particular do, we are going to make the condition here. Getting the point? So this is important here. We are making the condition here. Now you can observe whenever the user enters into at first time here, we don't have any the condition here. So what happens internally? It's going to execute first time. It's going to execute first time, and once this particular do block is completed here, now what is happening internally? So it's checking the condition here. So if this particular condition is returning true, getting the point? If this particular condition is returning true, so it will keep on execute one more time here. So otherwise, it will coming out of the particular do while loop here. But now what you are understanding here, the first iteration, it's going to give the permission. So without checking the condition, from the second time onwards, so it's checking the condition. If this particular second condition is returning true, so it's keep on executing it. So otherwise, it will coming out of the particular do while loop. Okay. So we'll have a simple example here, how exactly this particular do while loop is going to execute here. Let me write this simple example. So do while here. public static void main string args here. Getting the point. So with the help of this particular main method, now what I am doing is, I am trying to define the same n is equals to 10. N is equals to 10. And dot or dot println. So now you can observe the same value I am trying to print. The same value I am trying to print here. So finally, I am closing this particular do while loop, do condition, and here I am making the condition. The same condition I am making here. So observe here, this particular loop, how many times it's going to execute here. So could you please think and let me know, so what exactly your output here. So now, basically, if I'm going to execute this particular example here, let me say do while, clear the console. So Java C do while dot Java and Java do while. Now you can see again we are having same problem. Cutting the pen. So this particular loop is repeating multiple times. So I want to stop this particular loop. So based on some condition here, I want to stop this particular loop based on some condition here. Now, where I need to add the particular, the value, n value increase or decrease, because we already identified here, we want to decrease this particular n value. So where we can decrease this particular n value? Where we can decrease?
Inside the do block. Yeah, under statement.
Okay. So if I'm going to add this particular post decrement operator, so the value is going to decrease for every iteration.
Yes.
Getting the point. So this is very important, we need to understand here. So what happens here? If I'm going to decrease here, so what will happen here? So basically,
It is of no use if we
yes,
decrease outside.
this is outside of this particular do while block here. So it is no use whenever we are trying to define outside of this particular block here. So getting the point. So we need to think very carefully. So where we can define this particular code, so that after iterating some iterations here, the loop is going to return as a false here. So now observe, I'm trying to compile one more time and executing here. So with the help of this particular do while, we are trying to return only 10 times here. So this is all about the do while here. Now we understood here how exactly the do while is printing here. So let me define one more example here. So inside this particular do while, I'm trying to define with one more example. So see, Now what I am doing here? I'm trying to add this particular pre-increment condition here. I'm trying to add this particular pre-increment condition. So what happens internally? Getting the point. So what happens internally? So basically, whenever we are trying to check with this particular pre-increment condition, first time it will print this particular message, the n value will become 10, and later, now what we are doing here, we are checking this particular pre-decrement operator, so the n value will become 9, the n value will become 9. With the help of this particular n value, we are checking this particular greater than condition, the condition will satisfy. So same way the loop is repeated here. If you observe carefully, so 10 to 1, getting the point. Now, so instead of using this particular pre-increment here, so instead of using this particular pre-increment, now I'm trying to check with the post increment here. Now I'm checking with the post increment here. So we need to understand here any difference we are having here. Any difference we are having here? For
Yes.
the post increment here. So one more time the loop is repeating here. One more time the loop is repeating here. Now you can see for the pre we don't have any problem. For the post, so it is repeating one more time. So why it is repeating one more time? Getting the point. So that we need to think here. Basically, whenever we are trying to check with this particular post decrement operator here, what happens internally? First is going to check with the condition, right? After condition, it is true or false. It's not going to check any the expression condition. After coming out of this particular value, the n value is going to decrease here. Getting the point. First it's giving the option to check the condition. Later the value is going to change. But for the pre-decrement operator here, first the value is going to change here. Whatever the changed value, with help of this particular change value, so it's going to check the condition. So this we need to check very carefully. So when we are using this particular post decrement or post to pre-decrement and post decrement here. Getting the point. So simple example we are going to use with the help of this particular do and while and case statements here. Getting the point. So here I am going to use with the case and do while here. So how exactly we are going to implement this particular example? So observe. I'm trying to so define menu example here. Here, what I am doing here. So I'm trying to check with the menu example here. So for this, we are going to check with the char data type choice here. Char data type we are going to use as a choice here. And after choice, now what I'm doing here, I'm defining do block here. System dot println here. Some message here. Something called help on. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finally, we need to check this many. And observe carefully. I'm trying to print these many messages here for this particular first if condition. And second here switch condition. For this particular third here while condition. For this particular fourth we are going to check with the do while. For this particular fifth year, we are going to check with the for loop here. And finally, choose one. Finally, choose one here. Right. Now, so this is I'm trying to define inside this particular do block here. So after choosing, whenever this particular message is printed, so the user is trying to choose the values here. So the user is trying to choose the values. Now what we need to do, we need to store into the character choice here. So system dot in dot read method. From this particular command line, the value is going to read here. Choice is equals to, I'm trying to convert into char here. So this is the value I'm trying to choose from the command prompt. And after this, I'm checking the condition here. So what is the condition we need to check here? Because the value less than -1 or choice greater than 5. This particular condition is important here. So observe carefully now how I'm trying to define here. So this particular do block will print this particular messages and from this particular choice. What we are doing is we are trying to load from the data from the particular command prompt, and if the value less than 1 or if the value is greater than 5, so what we are doing here, we are trying to repeat one more time here. We are trying to repeat one more time here. So getting the point. After completion of this, now what I'm doing here, so we'll check with the switch case here. We'll check with the switch case here. So here we need to define the choice here. So what is a choice we are going to define here? And basically from 1 to 5, I'm going to define this particular cases here. So now you can observe. Now we are trying to check with the switch case with the char data type here. System dot out dot println here. So this is a if condition here. Getting the point. Now we need to define the syntax here. If condition syntax here. Getting the point. If condition and condition will satisfy, statement will print. So otherwise, what we are checking here, else block. Getting the point. So this is all about the simple case 1 here. Now I'm trying to define with the case 2. So what is the case 2 here? Something called switch here. Case 2 we are having as a switch case here. So we need to check with what are the case 2 information here. Switch case here. And we need to define the particular syntax here. Switch case expression and case details. So finally we can make break here. Getting the point. So this is the case details. Right. So we can go for the third one. So up to 3, it's enough here. So you can define. I'm trying to check with only 3. So what is the 3? We are having something called while here. While. Here, condition and block of statements here. So this is all about the switch case. This is I want to provide the information here. Let me save this particular menu. Right. Now you can observe we need to compile the code with the help of this particular. So Java says menu.java. In case say something we did not close. Okay. Compile one more time. Okay, unreported exception. So basically it is expecting here. So define this particular. It's not finding this particular read method here. So if it is not finding this particular read method, now what we need to do here? Here I want to handle this particular IO exception here. So unreported exception must be caught or declared here. Let me handle this particular IO exception here. So where I am trying to handle here with the help of this particular throws here. So we'll see later how exactly this particular throws will work here. Java.io.io exception. Java.io.io exception here. Compile one more time and menu. So now you can see the cursor is blinking here. We need to provide the inputs here. Getting the point. We need to provide the inputs information. So up to what are the inputs we implemented? So 1, 2, 3 and we implemented here. So I want to check with the 3. So whenever we are giving this particular 3, click on this particular enter. Now observe here the while loop, while condition, block of statements here. Getting the point. So it will provide the information related to this particular while information. Right. Now, so what I want to check here. So to check with the one more here, again we need to compile. Java menu. So to switch case here. Getting the point. So this is the way we can give the input from the command prompt and we can work with our switch case here. Right. So now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to check with one more time. Here I want to give 6 here. What happened here? So again it's providing the value because the while condition is satisfying here. Getting the point. The while condition is satisfying here. So again the do block is executing here. So now if I'm going to give, now you can see again the do block is executing here. I given the value called 9, the do value is executing one more time. If I'm going to give 3, so now you can see the condition is satisfied and switch case is executed here. So basically we can make some difference between here. So system.out.println here. Now what I want to provide here, some understandable message we can provide here. Clear the console, compile one more time. Oh, here I did not provide the semicolon here. Compile one more time. execute here. So he's asking the values. I'm giving 9 here. So what happened? So it's not executing, I guess. Okay. So it is not executing here. So let me check to here. Okay. So basically, we need to define inside this. So we define outside of this. So whenever it is coming out of this particular do while, this particular, it's printing this particular message here. Getting the point. So you can define inside this particular block of code. So it's going to execute the particular println message here. Right. So these are about the do while with the switch case example with the help of this particular dynamic value here. Getting the point. So any questions regarding this particular the menu related example here? So anyone having any questions? Okay. So we don't have anything here. We'll move on to
About
this.
the exception,
Yes.
instead of if we don't want to define this package directly here, how can we do it?
So we need to import this particular exception here. So basically, this particular read method is going to throw some exception. Sometimes what happens here, the user may not enter the value. So if the user may not enter, we may get some kind of exception here. So because of this, we need to handle the exception. So it is a checked exception we are going to call. We need to handle the, so while implementing this kind of examples here.
Yeah, but if what I'm asking is, if we define this package outside, then what class we should define in source?
So it is not defined by us. This is class is defined by the predefined class here. So which is available inside this. So same thing you can define.
Okay.
If you are having any some XYZ exception, you can define like this.
Okay.
Okay. So back to here. Now we need to check with this particular for loop here. So for loop we already identified here. So I want to provide the basic information here because we check with the initialization section and the condition. So as well as iteration section here. So with the help of this particular for loop, we are going to define simple example here. So we are going to work with a simple example here. Now, what is a simple example I want to find out here? Here I want to check with a prime example here. I want to check with the prime example here. So now, so what exactly the prime is going to provide here? So into number, I'm declaring one variable here. Same way, Boolean value I'm trying to define as a is prime. So I'm not initializing any variable as of now. So I'm trying to check with the number is equals to 14 here. If this particular number less than 2, now what I'm doing here is prime is equals to false. Carrying the point. So basically the number, whatever the number we are having, so we are going to divide this particular given number here. With the help of this particular 2, we are going to divide. So whenever we are getting this particular remainder as a 0, so those number we are going to call it as a prime numbers here. Getting the point. So because of this, I'm making one condition here. If this particular number is less than 2, so we are making as a this particular number as a, it's not a prime number. Getting the point. So why we are making this particular, it's not a prime number, because whatever the number we are having, the number which is going to divide by 2, and if we are dividing by 2, we may get the remainder as 0. So those numbers we are going to call it as a prime numbers here. Right. So back to here. Now what I'm doing is, if this particular condition is not satisfying here, I'm making else this particular prime as a true here. Right. In our case, the particular 14 number is a prime number because of these two conditions here. Because of this particular two condition, so the number, whatever the number we are making, 14 as a prime number. So as of now, it is a prime number. But what we need to do, we need to check with the division operator as well as the modulo operator to find out the remainder of the given number here. So if it is returning as a 0, then we can call it as it is a prime number. Okay, observe now what I'm doing here. I'm trying to check with the loop here. So I'm trying to define one more variable called int I is equals to 2. So directly we can repeat from the second. Carrying the point, we can repeat from the second here. Now observe, I'm trying to check with the less than number divided by I. So whenever I'm trying to write here, so what is the value I'm going to get here? What is the value I'm going to get it here? So same way I plus plus. If you observe carefully inside this particular for loop here, again I'm trying to checking with one condition here. The condition here, num modulo of I. Getting the point. I'm trying to make one more brace here. Num modulo of I equals to 0. Getting the point. So if it is equals to 0, if it is equals to 0, so let me make false and break. I don't want to repeat one more time here. Let me close all the braces here, and here we need to make the one more condition. Is prime. If it is a prime, I want to print out this particular message. So prime number. Whatever the number we given, so that is a prime number. And so we can check here. Else, it is not a prime number. Right, it is not a prime number here. So main method and class level base. But only the information we need to understand carefully. So like what is the value we are going to get it here? And so what is the value we are going to get it here? Right. So when we are trying to work with this particular division operator here, we are having, here we are trying to check with the 2, and here we are having 14 value, and when we are trying to work with the division operator, so whatever the value we are going to get it here, so this value is going to return here. So this particular value is going to return here, and whatever the value we are going to get it here, getting the point, whatever the value we are going to get here, so this particular value is going to return here. So this is the difference between the conditional, the division operator, and in the if conditional, the module operator here. Getting the point. So this is very important. We need to understand here in the both cases. Getting the point. In the both cases, the same division operator is going to use. So this is the same structure we are going to use for the division operator as well as our modulo operator here. But only the difference is the value is going to return with a different location here. With a different location. When we are trying to work with the modulo operator, so the remainder value we are going to get. When we are trying to work with the division operator, the quotient value we are going to return here. Right. So this we need to understand here. Let's see. So what is whether the given number is a prime number or not. Let me check with a simple example. Close. Java C find prime.java. It is compiled successfully, and I'm trying to run with the example. So it is not a prime number here. Getting the point. Now what I want to give. So number I want to give as a 20. I want to give as a 20 here. So let me compile one more time and run. So it is not a prime number. Why? Let me check with so 22. All we are getting as a false here. So maybe okay. We need to make true here. So meanwhile, we need to understand the particular 0 to 50 or 100 prime numbers here. Here we made some different condition here. Let me compile one more time. So the 22 is a prime number here. Now what I want to do, 0 to 100 prime numbers here.
In that program only, can you please keep 57 and see whether it's prime or not?
Okay.
And 22 is not a prime number, right?
So that is I'm trying to find with the table here. So Java C, that is a prime number it is giving. We need to check whether the 57 is available inside this particular list or not. So the number is not available here. Okay. So list of prime numbers.
But yeah, okay. If it is not a prime number, then why is it saying as prime number for 22?
The logic is, yes, that we need to check. Basically, so we need to think what is the logic here where we are having. The prime number is a natural number that exactly two distinct natural numbers, one itself and itself here. Okay. So we need to see here. We'll give 11 here. With the help of this particular 11, so how it is checking? Okay, we need to see. So this section is returning true. So it is a prime number because this particular condition is satisfying here. So the if condition is failing, it will back to the else. Okay, now we need to understand here. So 2, with the help of this particular 2, let me write here 2 and 11 here. So basically, how many times this particular, so 11 is going to satisfy. So here we are having 10. So it is nothing but, here we are going to get 5 here. So 2 less than 5. The condition is satisfying here. Right. So once the condition is satisfying here, we'll back to here. So basically, okay. So we made wrong here. We need to keep as it is here the false only. If we observe the modulo operator here, so number modulo 5, it will become 0. If it is 0 only, so we are checking this. But this condition is returning false here. Why it will return false here? Because the remainder we are going to get as a 1 here. So the 1 it's not going to satisfy here. Right. If it is not satisfying here, what happens internally? Again, the loop is going to repeat here. So the I value will become 3 here. So whenever the I value will become 3, so we need to think here how many times this particular value is going to divide here. So it is 3 here. Getting the point. We are going to get here 2. Here we are going to get 2. So the value here we need to specify as a 9 here. Right. So these 3 we are checking this particular I. So I already it become 3. So 3 less than 3. The condition is failing here. So if it is failing here, already in the else section we made as a, so it is a prime number. The same prime number it is printing here. Getting the point.
Okay.
So we'll check with one more example here. Now, if I'm going to give the 11, so console clear, compile the code, and execute here. So 11 is a prime number. So we'll go for the different number 53. So we'll check the 53 here, whether the given 53 is a prime or not. So without checking any code, directly we can run the example. So 53 is also prime number. Now I want to make 54 here. So basically 54 it is not a prime number. Now you can see 53 directly 59 here. Let me run the same example. So it is not a prime number. Getting the point. So if it is not a prime number, how we are thinking here? So again, we'll check this simple example here. So back to here, we are having to, so because the I value is going to start from the 2, we need to think here. So how many times this particular condition, the value is going to divide here. So 27 here. Getting the point. So here we are having 2 and 1. Getting the point. So this condition is satisfying here. So 27 it will become 54. So now we are getting 0 here. So I less than 27. I less than 27 it's going to satisfy here, and it will back to this particular condition number of modulo 5. So it's checking with a 0. The remainder we are getting 0. So now we are having, so we are making this particular is prime as a false, and we are breaking this particular loop. We are breaking this particular loop here, so that the else block is executing here. It is not a prime number. Right. So these are about the simple example we identified with the help of this particular prime here. And now we need to focus more onto the loop here. How we are trying to work with this particular loop here. Getting the point. So same way, we can work with a different style of this particular for loop here. So how exactly we can work with a different for loop here. Let me check with one more example here. blocks into A comma B. So I'm trying to declare two variables and I'm initializing one variable and so we'll check with one loop here. So the loop here, now what I'm doing here, A is equals to 1 because above we already declare this particular variable. Again, we don't want to provide with the int variable here, right? And now we need to check with the A less than B. So I'm making the condition A less than B. Here I'm making A plus plus here. So observe the simple values here. System.out.println A value and same way we'll check with the B value. We check with the B value and here I'm using B minus minus. Carefully observe the A value at the loop level it is increasing, but the B value we are trying to work with internally. The B value internal loop of this particular for loop we are decreasing the value, cutting the point. So we can use anywhere within the same block here. So within the same block we can use so that the condition is going to check for the every iteration and the value will print here. So how many times this particular loop is going to repeat here?
2 times.
How many times? Only 2 times here? Yes.
Yeah.
Because first time initially A value 1 and B value 4. So the loop is satisfied. It will enter into the loop and we are incrementing the A value will become 2 and the B value we are decreasing. So it will become 3. So the condition will satisfy because 2 less than 3. So second time is printing. Whenever we are entering into the third time, the A value will become 3, but B value will become 2. So 3 less than 2. The condition is going to return as a false. Right. So this is all about the simple example on the loop here. So Java says sample loop.java. Sorry. Sample loop. So A value 1, B value 4, A value 2, B value 3. Only 2 times here. Cutting the. So these are about the simple example on the for loop here. So tomorrow we are going to discuss with the class introduction here. So tomorrow onwards we are going to discuss more information. So these are the basic the concept we understood as of now. So from tomorrow onwards we are going to create an object. So with the help of object we are going to work with different styles of example here. Any questions regarding our today's session?
No.
Okay. So if we don't have anything, we'll continue tomorrow with the new concepts here.
I have not from this, but I have one question because I just started a job
Okay.
in Dish Networks, like which is for television in India. So in that I have started a job, and my job is API developer, and they're working completely on AWS. They're working on Lambda functions, step functions. So everything is on AWS with Terraform.
Okay.
So I wanted to know because I have never worked on AWS. I don't know. By seeing the videos of interview questions of AWS and even by reading some AWS stuff, I did understand, but I've never worked on it. Can you tell me from where can I learn for Lambda function AWS? That's why I was asking for deployment. Can you tell on that day? Because I'm really not understanding when they're giving class to me.
Okay, but basically, like the deployment section is totally different from the development here. Okay, so we'll see like we'll deploy one two example on the AWS, but it's going to take some time here. Whenever we are trying to discussing the Spring concepts here, so we can see the examples here. So not from this particular code away.
Yeah,
So
that
meanwhile,
meanwhile I wanted to know what can I go through, what material or stuff will be good so that I can.
so
It will
just
be
check
easy
with
for me.
any YouTube channel. Just check with the Java with the AWS or Spring with any AWS. So just try to write a simple example and deploy into the AWS. So that is a better option.
Okay, but on that day when I asked you, you said about Jenkins. What it is?
Yes. So basically, to communicate with the AWS, so first we are going to connect with the Jenkins. From the Jenkins, we are going to deploy into the AWS. So just try any YouTube channel. You are going to find out the step by steps here. So try to follow those steps here.
Okay. You too, please, when you will be doing, when it will be possible, please try to show. Because you teach in a very good way. That's why I'm attending all classes, even after my job.
Okay. So I need to spend some time to connect with the AWS here. So I will let you know like this weekend I will try to connect, and if it is possible I will show you on Monday or Tuesday. So I'm
Okay,
not
can I
sure like
please know what
yeah.
is your name and can I please get your
Sorry.
number?
I think you can get it my number from the WhatsApp groups. So every day I'm trying to post the messages.
Oh, that is your number.
Yes.
And what is your name?
Suresh.
Suresh?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll continue to.
And we found that few of the auditor not even checking the second page and third page of the series. So why it is happening on, I don't know, why they are missing to verify the amount in the series, second page and third page. The amounts whatever reflecting in the document need to match with our PCA. If it is not matching, we can edit it. Till the first page is matching, but till the second page and third page are not matching. That we need to observe while verifying with the series. And one more thing, cash to close and if borrower comes to borrower next year, okay, and show you. If it is showing as from, then it is a positive information. If it is showing as to, it will be updated with a negative. Means minus symbol will be first updating and then the amount will be updated. From will be always positive information, means plus information. So no need to click the additional symbol, will directly update the information. Whereas it is marked as 2, we found that most of them not updating this 2. They are just updating the information. When it is marked as 2, they are updating as from only. So that will also is marked as a test. So that is the information you need to know where what the situation is. The positive information is that the borrower has a improvement, he is having a liability. So that's the section. But what you are doing, mentioning his positive information, even he has a negative amount. So that's the situation from and to. Please check properly in CD page 3. And regarding the second page, this SJ have found that CD, C section, D section, E and F sections are not being verified properly.